let's dive into the geometric patterns and aspects involved under the Taurus new moon 2025. Taurus may be ruled by Venus, which is all about indulging in the physical, material rewards of our efforts. But Venus is still coming out of her post-retrograde shadow, and she's still featured in this long-term conjunction to Saturn, planet of karma, restriction, and personal accountability. They're also conjunct the north node of collective fate and destiny on the cusp of Pisces and Aries, the final and first degrees of the zodiac, which is all about endings as a necessary path to forward progress. A period of reflection as to how we invest our time, energy, money, and resources leads to a shift in our values, and a period of dissatisfaction drives change. This conjunction between the north node of fate and destiny and Saturn is a rare event, happening but once every 10 years, and it's even more rare when we factor in Venus's presence. The north node is about the direction we're headed. It's about our unexpected or unresolved desires and deepest passions. And it's about our spiritual evolution as we transcend those passions. The north node is Rahu, the dragon or serpent's head. Intense material desires, especially unresolved ones, can become exaggerated and potentially problematic, especially when conjoined with Venus, planet of luxury and beauty. Venus and Saturn can bring endings that lead to new beginnings, and DEATHS, whether that's literal or metaphorical. These DEATHS can be to old habits, old ways of being, layers of ego, addictions, especially in the sign of Pisces, etc. Endings are necessary on the path forward. There are no endings, only new beginnings. Venus conjunct Saturn is common in times of sobriety. Avoid overindulging and overspending at this time. Moderation is key. The aim and goal is temperance. Avoid impulsive temptation when seeking a quick fix, especially once Venus returns to impulsive, at times foolish, Aries in the end of April and through May 2025. We have a grand fixed cross, which first I'll point out the planetary bodies involved, and then I will dissect it. A grand fixed cross in astrology involves planetary bodies placed in the fixed signs: Taurus, fixed earth; Leo, fixed fire; Scorpio, fixed water; and Aquarius, fixed air. They are separated by challenging pressure points, 90-degree angles, squares. Fixed signs are known for their perseverance and their determination, but also for a tendency to be stubborn and resist change. Individuals who have a grand fixed cross in their birth chart have a strong need for order and structure, but they may also struggle to find a clear path to apply their talents effectively. In the chart of a new moon, this alignment creates a collective feeling of being well organized, but unsure of how to direct our talents moving forward. It can lead to a feeling of feeling stuck among the collective. While a grand fixed cross can present many challenges, it also holds the potential for personal growth, and this is once we rise above our obstacles. Fixed signs are notoriously stubborn, many of whom can hold a grudge to the grave and punish you with the silent treatment. However, by learning to embrace greater flexibility and to adapt your plans as needed, individuals can overcome the limitations imposed by fixed energy dynamics. In the chart here of the new moon in Taurus 2025, we have Mars, 4 degrees Leo, opposite Pluto, 3 degrees Aquarius, crossing the new moon, the sun and moon aligned 7 degrees Taurus, while its opposite, black moon Lilith, 3 degrees Scorpio. Mars opposite Pluto brings power plays, control dynamics, and manipulation. Squaring off against the new moon in Taurus, opposite black moon Lilith in Scorpio, this shows that we're trying to start something new for ourselves, but feel pitted against the agendas of possibly multiple other parties. We may feel stuck or dragged into the middle of conflict, drama, and chaos, whether this is in the workplace, at home, or within relationships. Mars opposite Pluto has been a long-term aspect that exacted 3 times over the past 6 months. This was due to Mars's retrograde along the cusp of Leo and Cancer. The first exact Mars-Pluto opposition coincided with the days leading up to the United States presidential election in November of 2024. The second opposition occurred while Mars was retrograde in the early degrees of Leo, with Mars retrograding along the Leo-Cancer cusp, and Pluto in the early degrees of Aquarius. This was in January 2025, coinciding with the Los Angeles fires. This is the third and final pass of Mars opposite Pluto, so we may see a return to the events that led into the 2024 United States presidential election. We'll see continued themes of fire and karma coming to the wealthy top 2%, anyone with status, power, and influence, and especially those who misuse their power and influence. Mars in Leo is the most heavily aspected planet in the chart of the Taurus new moon, amplifying competitive, aggressive, domineering, hot, fiery warrior energy. We have a lot of fire in the second half of April, especially from April 18th through 19th in the final days of Aries season 2025. This was with the Sun exalted in Aries, Neptune 0 degrees Aries, Mercury re-entering Aries post-retrograde, and soon to be at the end of April, Venus returning to Aries post-retrograde. At the end of May, we will see Saturn ingressing into Aries, joining Neptune, and Mars will still be in Leo. Mars is happy in fellow fire sign Leo, but still coming out of post-retrograde shadow. Mars is so strong in fixed fire sign Leo, in fact, we may see even more themes of fire, more drama, more conflict, and more arrogance. Donald Trump is actually a Mars in Leo native, with Mars rising with his Leo ascendant in his birth chart. So this energy is quite visible in his assertive, at times domineering, "ya fired" personality. Mars in Leo is a brilliant placement for anyone in leadership, performers, and anyone in the spotlight. As a Jupiter and South Node Leo native, I personally love Mars in Leo as a placement. It's a pattern that both of my older brothers possess with their native Mars near Regulus in the heart of the Leo constellation, similar to Donald Trump. And also my current romantic partner has his Mars in Leo in that same area. We're returning to the energy of late October, early November 2024. The energy of volcanic eruptions, figuratively and literally. Change unfolding to leadership as we know it as karma unfolds. Karma to the top 2%, to influencers, celebrities, royalty, karma to Hollywood, wildfire, and possibly national attacks. We had the reverse of this energy in the late 1940s, with building tensions during World War II. Pluto at this time was in Leo, opposite Mars in Aquarius. This energy can be quite forceful, with control dynamics and power plays playing out in the collective, as above, so below. Pluto in Aquarius brings up themes of rebellion, issues with freedom and sovereignty, human and civil rights, and it can be quite combative. You're encouraged and reminded to lean into the down-to-earth, grounded practicality of Taurus energy, especially amidst fiery tempers. Taurus represents Mother Earth. Go for walks in nature, practice grounding through yoga, and practice gratitude, which is the easiest antidote and way to shift out of a lack mentality and into a mindset of abundance. Uranus is on fixed demon star Algol, exactly 26 degrees Taurus. Uranus on fixed star Algol, more commonly known as the demon star, located in the left eye of Medusa's head, held in the hand of great hero Perseus in the constellation. Historically, Uranus on Algol coincides with violence on the world stage. Algol and its mythology tie back to Medusa and Perseus, and to losing one's head or losing one's cool, whether that's literally, such as during the French Revolution, or metaphorically. Algol is an eclipsing binary star, meaning that two stars orbit one another, with one star periodically passing in front of the other star, blocking, or essentially eclipsing its light. This causes the stars to appear to twinkle or to wink, much like the petrifying gaze of Medusa, which could turn even the bravest of men to stone. Algol comes from Arabic for the ghoul, and it's connected to alcohol, which is believed to allow demons or negative spirits, hence the nickname spirits for alcohol, to take over us when we consume it. This may very well be why alcohol seems to heighten one's more egoic and shadow nature. You're encouraged to avoid alcohol altogether or consume it in very limited quantities over the next coming months, as Uranus travels over fixed demon star Algol and into the early degrees of Gemini in July. This is while that parade of planetary bodies along the Pisces-Aries cusp activates and triggers any addictive or escapist tendencies. So Donald Trump has his midheaven exactly 26 degrees Taurus, where Algol is, and this is while Uranus is transiting over this very public part of his chart, forming an exact square to his Mars 26 degrees Leo, rising with his ascendant, with Mars falling into his 12th house of critical physical and mental health. Uranus brings unexpected curveballs and sudden events that we're forced to adapt to. And when it's on one's midheaven, it can be very public, affecting one's public image, overall reputation, and their career. These are all areas of the chart ruled by one's midheaven and 10th house. If we rewind back to the half moon 22 degrees, the KILL or BKILLED degree of Libra on July 13th, 2024, on that same day, brought the first assassination attempt against then presidential candidate Donald Trump. This was while Mars was coming into conjunction with Uranus at that time. The conjunction exacting on July 15th, 2024. The Mars-Uranus conjunction on July 15th, 2024 was a seeding event. All conjunctions are seeding events, just like a new moon, which brought a literal attack, Mars, quite suddenly, Uranus, to the health and well-being of Donald Trump. For more detailed information, I produced a series of videos in the beginning of July 2024 predicting the multiple assassination attempts against then presidential candidate Donald Trump. I will link them here and in the description box below for you to go back and watch if you are interested and curious. I also dive in depth into the symbolism and mythology of Algol and Medusa. I also went over this briefly in my previous video 2 weeks ago, covering the mid-April full pink moon in Libra, so I encourage you to go back and watch that if you missed it. Comment below, where does Taurus below in your natal chart? Specifically, 7 degrees 47 arc minutes of Taurus. The house will show you where this is manifesting in your life. Remember that the planet represents the symbolism, the sign shows the energy patterns, and the house shows where it may manifest for you in your life, which is all based on your birth time and your rising sign. I will use my own natal chart cast on the screen here as an example. As a 12-degree Libra rising, the traditional house system puts this new moon, 7 degrees Taurus, in my 7th house of one-to-one interpersonal relationships, contracts, and open enemies. Since my 8th house begins exactly 8 degrees Taurus, this is right on the cusp of my 7th and 8th houses, and it would be in the 8th whole sign house of my chart, which astrologers commonly use for simplicity. The 8th house is the house of shared resources and investments, such as through marriage or long-term partnership. This new moon answering to Venus conjoined with Saturn and the north node of collective fate and destiny brings a fated ending that leads to a new beginning with long-term potential for peace and stability. In the workplace, I'm beginning a new position that will bring greater work-life balance, peace, and stability. And I start the day after this new moon exacts. Romantically speaking, my current relationship has reached the point where either it progresses into some sort of a long-term commitment, or we both return to the drawing board to manifest soulmates that are more aligned with our soul's long-term path and potential. Comment below. I'm very curious to hear how you're feeling. What's coming up for you? Perhaps a major decision around this Taurus new moon at the end of April, or whenever this video finds you. Time is but a human construct, after all. Energy is fluid. Whenever this video hits your algorithm and finds your screen, it is when it was meant to. Thank you for watching. If you're still with me, you're a real one. Drop your current most used emoji in the comments. If you took anything away from this video, we ask that you like, comment, share the content, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, we know that you'll enjoy the full playlist and this additional video. Thank you so much, love you, and see you soon.